So today we're going to talk about cold callers and should you hire a cold caller in-house or should you hire an agency that's going to quote unquote do it for you. But before we jump in today's episode, if you have not been to our website, head on over to nextlevelwholesaling.com. If you are a solopreneur or you're a business owner who wants to get to that next level, you want to make more money in your business, you want it to be more profitable, you want more time, you want to start to build a team where your business works for you, and you want to learn how to create some of that residual income to get off that hamster wheel, go to nextlevelwholesaling.com. Take the Next Level Wholesaling Assessment. When you take it, it's going to give you basically the next step that you need to take in your wholesaling business. It's going to ask you some questions about the four main areas of your wholesaling business. And I got to tell you, when I started doing this with myself regularly, it was like night and day. It became so clear on what I needed to do next. So if you're looking to make more money, you want more time, you want more freedom, you want more out of your business, then go to nextlevelwholesaling.com and take that assessment today. All right, before I jump into the show, I want to play a piece of good news from one of our private clients, Bobby, out of West Virginia. And I love this episode this piece of good news, because Bobby takes a deal, and it would seem like most wholesalers would have thrown it away, but he takes it and he turns it into something special. So let's go ahead and listen to this.
I just signed another owner finance deal this week. Gonna sandwich it out. I've been trying for big assignment fees, and when I can't get them, it seems like I can talk them into a pretty good wrap, and I've just been doing those.
So let me go back into that actual clip. And so if you know you're a follower of me for any length of time, you know I like big, fat, juicy, profitable deals. And Bobby could not assign this for a straight assignment fee, right? Basically wholesale it. So he got it under contract on an owner finance deal. He's taking that deal and he's selling it to a retail buyer, basically with owner finance terms. He's basically taken the seller's loan and he's reusing that loan to sell to an end buyer who can't get qualifying. Here's the great part though, is that after going over this deal, we ran over the numbers, and over the long term, he's going to make about $70,000 or $80,000 approximately on this deal. I don't know about you, but that sounds big, fat, and juicy to me. So Bobby, thank you for sending that in. Congratulations. Awesome job. High five. I want to know which one of you listening to this is next. And yes, or is next. Yep, I'm talking to you. So if you're watching this on YouTube or you're listening on a podcast, I want you to send in your success story. Send it to support@nolimitsrealestateinvesting.com, or you can hit me up on Instagram. That's fine too, at Todd Toback. Love to hear from you. And this keeps me just going. So let's talk about cold callers. And I had someone send in this question. They said, Todd, should I hire a cold caller in-house or should I hire an agency? And this is a fantastic question. My answer to you is it depends. It depends. And I also have a couple caveats here. By the way, my good friend Brent Daniels, if you want to Google him, is an expert on cold calling. So I would recommend, if you really want to get deep on this marketing channel, you check out Brent Daniels. But I want to, for a second, talk about my experience. And cold calling can work. We do it. It's not, by the way, it is an effective marketing channel for us, but for us, it's not the most effective. I prefer other methods of marketing, like fastsellerleads.com. That's online, where you just get them sent to you. It's you pay for them up front. I also like direct mail. I also like word of mouth and influencer marketing. But cold calling is definitely the most proactive way to get a deal. And not saying we don't do it, because we've closed plenty of deals by cold calling this year. So let's talk about the two. So number one is what I call done for you. It's where you hire an agency to do this for you. By hiring an agency, let me make a caveat here. If you were thinking about cold calling using a Filipino cold caller or someone overseas, I do not recommend that. I don't care how many cold callers you have. If you have 10 for $1, I have not seen people have any kind of lasting results with that marketing channel. I've got a private client. His name is James. He had 4 callers from the Philippines, and they were giving him pretty much no results, and he was using them month after month after month, and he switched to someone who was a native English speaker in America. And basically, this person was probably about double the cost or triple the cost, but started producing 4 times as many leads, good leads, juicy leads. And so my recommendation is, if you're thinking about going overseas for cold calling, by the way, I go overseas for work all the time, just not for calling on the telephone, right? This is a job that should be done by a native English speaker with a native North American accent. So that is my advice for you. Do not deviate from that, please. So in terms of an agency, here's some advantages. Number 1, they're already trained, right? You don't have to train somebody. Number 2, you make a phone call, you pay for them, you've got someone who's ready to go, and they're going to start making calls probably for a day. If you lose somebody, the agency will automatically replace them quickly. They will provide metrics. They will do some reporting if they're doing it right. A disadvantage is that it's more expensive up front. You can definitely get results with this. You can do deals from this. I think that it is slightly, inferior to if you hire someone in-house, but only, if you fit certain criteria. So if you hire a cold caller in-house, what does this mean? It means you put out a job ad, or you get a referral, or you meet somebody, and you bring them on. They work directly for you. You train them, you motivate them, you role play with them. If they quit, you hire somebody else and do it all over again. The advantage to this is, if you train somebody the right way and you pour into them, they're going to be a part of your culture. They're going to get better than someone who is working for an agency, right? That's if you stick with it. And they were going to make you a lot more money in the long term. I have a cold caller who, for example, found us a mobile home park, of which I expect to make $3 million on. It took me a long time to invest in my cold caller and nurture that relationship. If I would have done the other way, I'm not sure I would have gotten the deal, right? It would have been faster to go with an agency, but me hiring this person in-house would have been more difficult. I think you got to ask yourself the right questions, right? I don't care which is better. You got to ask yourself, what will you do, right? What will you do? If you're like a solopreneur and you're running around like a chicken with your head cut off, and you're not going to take the time to hire the right person and train them, and you don't like working with people or managing, and you're not going to hire a manager, then I definitely recommend, and you're impatient, I definitely recommend going with an agency, right? They'll have somebody calling, you'll get leads right away, and you'll do deals. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? You're going to pay a little bit more up front, but hey, as long as you're making the ROI, as long as you know how to turn $1 into 5, I congratulate you, high five. I've got nothing wrong with that. If you are someone who you're like, hey, I want to invest in this business long term, I'm okay with hiring and managing, I'm going to do it, I'm going to pour into this person, then I would do it. I'd bring that person in-house and know that, hey, you could lose somebody, but hire somebody else and do it over and over again until somebody sticks. I got to tell you, both can work. As a matter of fact, I am doing both right now. I've got, in a form. I have somebody in-house, but I am also, actually, let me say this. I am joint ventured with someone who gets their lead from an agency. So I actually get leads from somebody who gets their leads from an agency. They send me those leads and we split those deals 50-50. It's a win for us and it's a win for them. And I also have someone in-house who gets us deals. So I do both. You can do both or you can do one, but you got to ask yourself what you are going to do. I'll tell you what, I might try both head to head, right? This is something that you can try because you never know who you're going to find, right? If you work with an agency, just hold them accountable, right? Make sure that you're getting leads, you're turning into ROI. The same thing, okay, is that you got to make sure that you are getting the ROI. If someone's not bringing you leads and you're not closing deals within 2 or 3 months, you got to move on. That's the most important thing. I see way too many people, they just keep going with mediocre cold callers, both from the agency and in-house, and they're not getting the return, and they just stick in these bad relationships. So Make sure you are getting the ROI. Here's how to do that. Every single Monday, you should have a report of how many leads you got the previous week. Okay. You should also have a report of your last 4 weeks rolling revenue. Okay. Not last month, the last 4 rolling weeks. You should be able to see your ROI on cold calling. Look at it every single month. If you're not getting the ROI, hey, maybe you got to retrain. Maybe you got to need a new list. Maybe you have to move on and get a new cold caller. But make sure that you are paying attention to this beautiful cash flowing business that you have created. Because with cold callers, it's all about the numbers, right? Are you getting leads and are you converting those leads? And are you doing it at an acceptable financial ratio? Hopefully, okay, it's a minimum of 1 to 5. In my opinion, with cold calling, it's more work, it's more management, but you should be able to do 1 to 10. You spend $1 and you make $10 back. I'll review. Number 1, you can go with it done for you. That's when you hire an agency. You can get somebody who's already trained. If you lose somebody, they'll hire somebody again. They'll replace them quickly. They'll give you metrics. The disadvantage is a little bit more expensive up front, and you'll probably never get the real company culture where they feel like they're a part of your team. If you do it in-house, it's going to be more work up front. You got to put the ads out. You got to interview. You got to train them. If you lose somebody, you've got to rehire. But they'll become a part of your culture. You could develop some loyalty. You will probably get somebody who's much, much better and going to make you a lot more money in the long term. Maybe you might be able to even promote him, right? So be aware, right? That relationship will go stronger, but it takes more time. Let me say this real quick. I didn't mention this in the previous part of the episode. One of the caveats I follow is, and this is an African proverb, is that if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And so I look at the agency route as kind of going fast, and you'll make progress, right? But if you build a team, you will go farther. So think about that. Lastly, if you want to go a hybrid route, you can always joint venture with somebody, right? Who either has a team or has outsourced, and just have them send you leads month after month after month after month. That's what I do. And in addition to having that in-house, and it's worked out very, very, very well. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you want to get to that next level, if you want a business that's going to throw off cash month after month after month, okay, with very little of your involvement, if you do it right, you want some margin in your financial life, go to nextlevelwholesaling.com, take the assessment, and I will talk to you on the next episode.